A lot of people think that marathon training needs to be extremely overcomplicated. Like you need 6 different types of runs and they all need to be exactly, perfectly optimized and executed. But honestly, you can build really, really strong fitness with just 3 types of runs done consistently and done well. So today I'm going to be breaking down the only 3 runs that you need, how hard they should be, how to progress them, and how to avoid burning out along the way. So looking at the big picture here, the marathon rewards being patient, not being creative, okay? So the biggest mistake a lot of people make isn't doing too little, it's doing too much, too hard, too often. And the goal of marathon training, it's not to feel impressive, it's just to stack week after week after week, okay? And the only 3 types of runs that you're actually going to need to cover absolutely everything is going to be number 1, your easy run, number 2, your long run, and number 3, your 1 speed or quality workout per week. Everything else is completely optional. Now looking at number 1, the easy run, this is going to be the foundation and the absolute most important part of your marathon training. And this is also the one that most people mess up the most. So the goal of easy runs is to just build your aerobic base, and it teaches your body to burn fat more efficiently. It strengthens your heart and mitochondria and allows you to recover while still getting faster, which is the most important thing. Now, a big part of the easy run is looking at your heart rate zones. So heart rate zones can be broken down into 5 different zones. You have zone 1, which is going to be your extremely easy, kind of a warm-up heart rate zone. It should almost feel a little bit too low. And then zone 2, that's going to be the magic zone. This is the zone where you can build your aerobic base. You should still feel comfortable, able to have a conversation, and this is where about 80% of your training should lie. Zone 3 is going to be a little bit faster, a little bit harder than that, more of a tempo run pace, should feel a little bit moderate and starting to feel like you're starting to work a little bit, but you should still be able to maintain that pace for quite a while. And then zone 4 and zone 5, those are going to be your lactate threshold zones, your VO2 max zones. This is where you're going to be doing a lot of interval runs. This is where a lot of your speed workouts are going to lie, in the zone 4 and zone 5 heart rate zones. These are going to be your really hard efforts. But for marathon training, zone 2 is absolutely king. So a lot of people wonder, what exactly does zone 2 really look like? What does it feel like? Essentially, if you're in zone 2, you should be able to have a conversation with somebody if they're running next to you, for example. Even if you're running alone, just imagine yourself and think, would I be able to handle and have a conversation right now without feeling too out of breath and mumbling and jumbling my words? Your breathing should feel controlled, and when you finish your run at this zone 2 pace, it should feel like you could definitely keep going. If your heart rate starts to creep up on some of these zone 2 runs, just slow down. If that means running slower than you want to, then just run slower than you want to. That's the whole point. And a lot of people get super fixated on how fast they're running. And a lot of people, when they first start zone 2 running, they're like, wow, I'm practically walking, I'm running this slow. Don't worry about the pace. Don't compare yourself to anybody else around you. Just focus on you. Keep being consistent. And over time, that zone 2 pace and zone 2 effort, it's going to feel easier and easier. And eventually, you can get to a place where your zone 2 pace is in a really good spot. The second kind of run that is crucial for marathon training is going to be your long run. Now, the long run, it's not just about running this long distance. It's about building durability. It's about getting your body used to running for long periods of time, and over time, increasing that distance slowly but surely so your body is able to adapt. And it teaches your body to stay relaxed while you're tired. Also teaches you to learn how to fuel properly and to stay mentally engaged for longer periods of time. So early on in your training block, a lot of your long runs should look kind of just like your zone 2 runs, except just longer. So similar pace, zone 2, fully easy, don't have any pace goals in mind. You're just looking to build time on your feet. Now, as things progress and you get towards the middle of your training block, as your fitness builds, your long runs can start to evolve a little bit. And I say a little bit because it's very important that you don't overdo it. Now, you may want to add some progression to your long runs, or a few miles at marathon effort, a few miles slightly faster than your easy pace, but still keeping it conservative and not overdoing it. And then as you get later into your training block, closer to race day, your long runs are going to start to be your rehearsal for your marathon. So you're going to be wanting to wear the same shoes that you're going to wear on race day, wear the same socks, shorts, shirt, hat, everything, taking the same fuel, same gels, taking the same amount of electrolytes, the same amount of liquid that you want to get in on marathon day. You're going to be wanting to do that on your training runs because you don't want to do anything new on marathon day, okay? The time to prepare for marathon day is in the 12, 16, 20 weeks beforehand. You don't want to try any new fuel or gels or anything because you know what works for your body. You don't want your stomach getting upset on marathon day. That's the last thing you want to worry about. So towards the end of this training block, some of your long runs can include maybe a first half, super easy, zone 2, second half, more of a moderate pace, whether that be a tempo pace or your goal marathon pace, whatever that may be. And it's important to learn to finish strong. A lot of people, one of the biggest mistakes they make in the marathon is going out too quick and having absolutely nothing in the tank at the end. And that is not the right way to run a marathon. You want to start out a little bit more conservative and you want to be able to finish strong. So it's really important to train yourself and get yourself familiar with starting off maybe a little bit slower than you would have liked. That way, in the second half of the run, you still have enough energy in the tank to finish strong. And then run number 3 is going to be your speed workout and your one quality workout per week. And you only need one, I think. As you get extremely advanced and you look at a lot of these professional runners, they can probably get away with doing 2, 3, maybe even 4 speed workouts per week. But for 99% of people, one speed workout per week is all you need. This helps keep your legs sharp, it improves your efficiency, and it teaches your body what controlled discomfort kind of feels like, which is extremely important. So early on in your training block, some examples of speed workouts could be 4 to 6 reps of 5 minutes at your threshold pace, or just a 20 to 30 minute tempo run. Now once you get towards the middle of your marathon training block, you can look to throw in maybe 3 by 10 minutes at a marathon pace, or 2 by 15 minutes at a steady pace, and progression workouts. And this is where the marathon specificity actually starts. So for example, a progression workout may be, let's say you have 8 miles on the day. You're going to do 2-mile warm-up, 2-mile cool down, and then you have 4 miles where you may start off at a fairly easy pace, and then at the end of those 4 miles, you should be running at least around your goal marathon pace, if not maybe a little bit faster. Now, how to progress mileage smartly. Mileage is king. It's the absolute backbone of marathon training. It's the most important thing you can do. The best way of getting faster is to just run more. And if you run more, you're going to run faster. Okay, those two just go hand in hand. But it's very easy to overdo it. So that's why it's extremely important to be smart when you're progressing your mileage. A lot of people say you shouldn't add more than 10 miles of your previous week's mileage to your next week. So, for example, let's say I ran 20 miles last week. This week I'm going to run 22, and then 24, 26, 28, 30, and then when I get to 30, I can do 10% of that the next week, which would be 33, 36, and it goes on, etc. Now, While you're building, you may want to throw in some down weeks in there. So for example, maybe every 4 weeks you have a bit of a deload week. So you may go, again, for example, 20 miles, 22, 24, and then you go down to 20, deload week, 24, 26, 28, back down to 24, and then it goes so on and so forth. Now, the goal of progressing mileage is to be smart, take it slow, and just be patient, okay? If you feel beat up, don't panic. Just hold the line, take a deload if you need it. And the most important thing is to just not progress too fast, because that's how you get injured, and then just like that, your marathon goals are out the window. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is cross-training. And I think cross-training is an extremely beneficial tool to use. Now, I say tool because cross-training supports your running. It does not replace running by any means. You still want to have most of your aerobic training as running. Now, for example, you could do cycling, you could swim, you could use the elliptical. All are great options, and they help you to build aerobic volume while reducing fatigue and having extremely low impact on your body. And I love cross-training a lot, specifically early on in the build, which just allows me to really build up my aerobic base efficiently and effectively. And then as time goes on, I tend to taper it down a little bit, just to limit fatigue as much as possible, even though cross-training is very low fatigue. Now, for what a sample week may look like for me, for example, I'm going to go back to my last week, which was my first ever 50-mile week. And looking at that, my Monday was a easy 12-mile zone 2 run. Again, keeping it very easy, conversational pace, not worrying about speed or anything like that. Tuesday was my speed workout, which was a 10-mile workout. I had 10 miles of total volume for the day, and I had 4 by 1 mile at 6-minute pace. So again, I had a bit of a warm-up, a bit of a cool-down, and then 1 mile hard, 1 mile easy, 1 mile hard, 1 mile easy, just like that, to break up those intervals. Now, Wednesday was another easy run, 8 miles, again, super easy, not pushing anything, conversational pace. And Thursday, more of the same, but this was just a 3-mile easy run, keeping volume low the day before my long run, which it was on Friday. Friday I had my long run, which was 17 miles. First 8 miles were super easy. The last 9 were at a moderate pace, again, picking it up a little bit, but not going out there and just hammering it and overdoing it. Now, if you may have noticed, a lot of those miles were easy. In fact, 13 out of the 50 miles were actually not easy and at like a bit of a moderate to hard pace. And that comes out to about 74% of my miles being easy miles. And in fact, that's probably even on the lower end. Ideally, I could probably get that closer up to 80%, and that would maybe even put me in a bit better spot. But again, that's really it for me, you know? You just need a lot of easy runs, throw a long run in there, throw in 1 speed workout, and that's all you need. Again, mileage is king. The more miles you run, the faster you're gonna run. You don't need to overcomplicate it or come up with this perfect program, because there is no perfect program. And the marathon, it doesn't care how fancy your training program looks. It just cares that you showed up consistently, you respected your body, you respected your recovery, and you just did the boring work. And that's the most important thing. You just got to be consistent and do the boring work. And a lot of the time that boring work is just your easy zone 2 runs where you're kind of feeling like, yeah, I kind of really want to pick up the pace here, but you know that this is going to be best for you, just staying within your heart rate zones, your zone 2, and it's going to give you the best bang for your buck. So if you can just commit to doing your easy runs easy, 1 long run a week, and 1 speed workout a week, and just slowly increasing your mileage, that's all you need to do. and you will be amazed at how far that takes you.